Okay, hello, this is Michael from Blue Gem Tarot. Time to create another reading for you, and I have already pre-recorded everything. The topic for today is going to be unexpected, surprising thoughts people have of you or had, because this could be literally present, past as well. It could capture except the future, because the future aspect is not going to be necessarily covered in this reading right now. But yeah, you have the timestamps in the description section, three piles as well as usual. Let's check the elements for each pile. First of all, you have the first pile with a black cat pin, second pile with a crystal eye, and third pile with a fire pin. The timestamps are going to be in the description and the comment section. I suppose that's it. That's all I have to know in here. The rest is yours to listen. Enjoy. Okay, welcome to your reading pile number one. The black cat pin is going to be your item or the link between your pile and the reading element and the reading. Okay. Uh, Let me check to be sure. Unexpected, surprising thoughts people have of you. Um, you have the King of Pentacles in reverse. That's very interesting because it came through as a very concrete message. For some of you, this is one particular person. For those of you who are not interested, this is talking about the greater uh, group of people thinking about you and yeah, the subsequent thoughts. There is someone who perceived you to be missing from their life, or it's as though they've lost the grasp over you, or you slipped through their fingers. That's the feeling. And I feel like this person almost like hoarded you, or it felt to me like they were really. Um, that's such a weird energy. It's like they've been holding on to you, grasping, holding, uh, like attaching themselves, their energy to you. In thoughts for general people, or in general, that would be high quality individual. Surprising, unexpected thoughts. It's the ways and the things in which people want you to participate or to make them, to make you stay in their life. There is a seeming sense of loss in here, or I want them close type of energy message. And there is a lot of void or emptiness that can also be read from this pile, or a seeming like desire or longing in here that's also quite relevant for this pile. It's as if, the craving or the longing aspect is like what would be possible if they were around, that's the sort of energy I can feel. And also it seems like you are like a missing puzzle from their life, or there is like a message coming from this like angle. It's as if there is some sort of missing element into their life, into people's lives, and like you are a very like um almost all encompassing, or feeling the voids, the gaps. There is also interesting like deep sense of value that's being placed upon you, and a sense of, they are really worthy, and it's not gonna be easy to make them stay. In the vicinity of the central card, we have in here growth in reverse, honoring your energy, emotional release, along with perception in reverse, ascension, and burden. This is quite fascinating because of the like growth card, also emotional release. People look at you and say stuff along the lines of like envy there is envy in here, and also like wanting to be like you, and ascension, like very pure, like a very pure person who's watching, or your energy is very pure. There is distance in here, I can say. With burden, especially with burden and ascension, it's like it would take a lot of like growth for me to be like them. Okay, that's what I can sense in here as well. And with perception in here, there is a fear, there is like a lingering aspect of like it's a bit unsettling to be in your presence, because it feels like you see, or you are perceptive over things that they are unable to pick up on. And honoring your energy, there is a lot of compliment in here, there is a lot of um, some sort of aspect almost wanted me to say reverence. Okay, I don't know what this is about. um, and the thing is like growth in reverse. So I don't know what's going on, like what's your particular situation or what's this all about, but it's like there is a seeming like distance between you and the people, and what they perceive and where they perceive they're at. Okay, with ascension you're like from the above, and it's making them feel like this gap, like they would want to like bridge this gap, but they don't know exactly how to do that, and they feel burdened by this idea. There is a strong desire in here, there is a strong like feeling of longing, when it's like that's linked to pile number one. And speaking of longing, I saw in here the Four of Pentacles, but it's in reverse also. Quite interesting, because there is a seeming giving up, like message of like, I should give up, I should just abandon this whole quest. Um, Not gonna lie, there is like a bit of pessimism in here when people think about you. Is I wouldn't also be surprised if people have some sort of fantasies in here, but it's also along the lines of what would be possible if they were by my side. There is like an almost childish, like very innocent, pure feeling of them wanting to be with you, like be close to you, and experience the present moment with you. That's also the type of also, it seems like you are bringing the best, but also the very intense feelings into people, and they would fight for you, or there is a lot of like emotional chaos in here that's being triggered for some reason. I don't see this necessarily as a bad thing, but your presence kind of steers like a lot of things in people, and it's like also a message of you don't see this every day. Unlimited possibilities in here also. It's like the mind really plays, when they are around you. The mind really plays when they think about you. And with emotional release, I wouldn't be surprised if this is also talking about an energy from like a, let's say, physical attraction type of spectrum. So don't be surprised if you are like in that sort of like category in people's thoughts, because I want to say it being close to honoring your energy and ascension. Some people have in here like a very strong physical pull towards you, but they would rather keep this in, keep it low. That's the King of Pentacles in here. Like the King of Pentacles shows me that people are some very deep feelings, by the way. I mean, King of Cups in here, 9, 10 of Swords, you seem unbothered, okay? You don't know how much like thought in here is being invested, and in general like how much desire is being shown through the reading. Almost like fantasy, like fighting for you, or fantasy of, I don't know why, but like fighting for you over like a group of people. um Also very seductive, like I wouldn't necessarily like jump over this aspect as well. With the High Priestess, um people see you as very alluring. They think of you as someone who's like very attractive, but you know, aside from the physical, that's also like almost it carries like a attraction that's from the physical side, psychological slash physical, or you know, something about the drive. I don't know. The mystery in here could also be an indicative factor as to why people feel so drawn. But in general, like it's a very drawn to you, and you're very inaccessible in here. I can feel that from the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups. I just see in here people fantasizing a whole great deal for some reason for pile one. And these are not even like light, fantasies. These are core deep ones. Like I'm looking at the growth card and it's like people are daydreaming, okay? That's someone in here like really, really thought about the details, okay? When it comes to you. And it feels to me like for some of you, this is one particular person. You could know who this is about, but my God, when I tell you that this person thought of you, it's like I see the space, like the energetic space of the thought, and it's like being drilled into you, like it left a hole. That's the sort of energy I can feel coming through from this card. It's like the person really thought of the details when they were fantasizing. Some of you even will have this interesting, like, uh, deeply thought through narrative of how to win you over, or thoughts of reverence, or thoughts of like with honoring your energy, like thoughts of now I've won them, that type of storyline, like cherishing you, like in the thoughts. I don't know, that's very like specific but also kind of all over the place. I can also pick up on holding you close, wanting to hold you real close. That's coming from also from a person or from a group in here that has like almost like severed, or you severed the connection, but it's like a very dear, like a very grasping onto you with such an intent, like with such a powerful intensity. With perception and this yin and yang, um, those are thoughts also on a scale like quarreling with you, then coming back together, like something like this. There is a wild intensity of energy and emotion that's being linked to pile number one. And also, like with this first card, with emotional release, like there's like almost a deliberate desire to hide this all away and like not show it to you, okay? There is like a very like scary like thought of like what if they are going to find out. um I feel like we're also playing in here with a person who is very like, this is not about you, this is about the people or the person in here, like in specifics, who is very like showing like no emotion or would like to be remembered as like an emotionless person. But my God, like the space in here is all like drilled like from their side, relative to you, like the person really thought about you in like various ways. And it's like with ascension in here also, I want to say there is a lot of gratitude, appreciation, um and all of this in contrast with the neighboring cards, them being the burden and the perception in reverse. Something about you being in the background is making it so that the contrast is too much, like it's too apparent, like where they're at and where you are at, okay? With two of wands in here, I can say one also thing, like it feels like they say to themselves that you are going to go far and that you're going to yet break a lot of hearts. This feels like it doesn't have to really take place, or it doesn't have to be, but that's how they are feeling, or that's what's triggered in them. Anyways, it's like a very because this is the future card for me, it makes me feel like you are someone who would rather rely on their success, would rather rely on who they are, and not like a person, or to expect that a person is going to fill that gap is something very, very like the person really understands that this is not going to happen, like very independent, very by myself, like self-made, that's the sort of thing. And I feel like this is not like a cold type of person, even though like uh, even though the characteristics of this pile would be so, I feel like you are a very warm person, but you're just like guarded in a way. um the sun in here, like being represented in the honoring your energy, is like with whom to share that. It's a very distinctive, like also discerning energy that's coming through. So you're like, not I'm not going to give away my energy to simply everyone. And high priestess, like a very like knowledgeable, a very like spiritual person also. There is a level in here of maturity that's being read from the Nine of Swords, saying that people recognize and honor a sense of like non-attachment, or unbothered by the circumstances, or unbothered by attention in general. It's coming through as very like potent, I would say. And it's very much so like a testimony to your good reputation in this case. Or it's almost neutral, because like people don't see you as some, or don't think of you as someone who's like a drama queen or something like this. No, quite the opposite. It does make me feel like they would see you as a very wise and detached type of person, and detached for the greater good of the situation, and of course like yours, because but it's pretty fascinating how the pile number one is being seen as a powerhouse in this context. I get the feeling that you have people thinking that, what am I doing different? What should I do to become like them? Okay. And it's like almost very sad to me in a way, because people kind of try to imitate you, or they think that by imitating you, they are going to feel closer to that self expression, or to that expression that you are easily exuding through the world. And it's like very, it makes me feel like somehow people are blinded in a way, in their perceptions over you, and in like a desire to show up like you, so that they would be almost like perceived as you are. I do not feel like this reputation of pile number one is very like, let's say, explosive or something, but you do carry an air of respect and authority that's very much so picked up on, and it's like highly people wanna imitate it. People wanna like be like you, or people wanna emulate it. But it kind of doesn't work, because it makes me feel like you are someone who's like doing this easily, or it comes naturally to you authentically. That's authentically who you are, and for them it's like the roots of this behavior that they want to create is like coming from a different space of like lack, whereas in your case you are more so expressive, like expressing yourself. Ten of Swords in reverse, like everything worst works for them, like place them in the worst of the worst situations, and they are like unshaken. There is like steel lady, steel person type of attitude in here that's transpiring, and it's envied very much so. Like Ten of Swords, this person feels like they are unbothered, or it's like you're transforming or transitioning like very unbothered. Connecting the energies like this is you'd be surprised how much, like, again, like it came to me as reverence, but respect it would be like a proper word in the general like sense. But even the bringing you down, like you're not easily shaken. That's the thought. And I want to say This is a pile who has been thought of like in a also very deep way. Again, just like I was saying in the beginning. This is not lightly, like this is not some sort of light energy that people like projected upon you. That's like a more deep core drilling like into the topic of you type of thing. You could be even feeling that at times. You could be having like headaches. Maybe you've been like feeling pressured, or at times you could be feeling like people are watching, and that's like sometimes bothering you. Can be the case, though it's kind of funny in here, like the intensity of the energy I can like sense. Like this pile, like it's a walking like universe type of like you're leaving like a static energy in the air as you walk. There is like a desire to infringe, like to almost like step into your boundaries, like and like not care for the consequences, or really like barge in, or just show up and see what's gonna be your reaction. Like that's the sort of thing I can see from the Queen of Cups in here. Though it's like a fleeting dream in here, because people just don't know what they wish, like really like what they wish for, because it feels like you are like a very consequences type of person. So there is a strong fear, like almost like a physical fear when it comes to like ruining or stepping over your boundaries. And also majestic, royal, very important. Queen of Swords in reverse is like I don't even need attention, or I don't even need a crowd to be considered like an important person. Like that's who I am, like deep down inside of me. There is also like a very like particular one coming through from this King of Cups. There is someone in here like wanting to almost like show physical like affection in a way, in the form of like embrace, cuddling. It's like a very deep it's a very deep feeling or desire in here, like it's being drilled through almost again, the same. I don't know why this is chasing you, but that's what I can see. It does make me feel like someone wants you to be with them, like regardless of the um labels in here. I don't know what's that about, but and it feels to me like someone like just had trouble not thinking about you. Like that's I'm looking at this King of Cups in here, and I can see the person like looking away from a ghost, or it's like they cannot help it. They cannot help not thinking about it. Okay. And seems like it's keeping them at night. Okay. Judging from the abundance of the like torches in here surrounding this card, and yeah, you know judging from the high priestess, you're like a mystery person to people in general. Like you're not someone who easily like integrates in the crowd. There is like a feeling of, you're not playing like in accordance with the rules, or you're not playing like everyone or everybody else. Okay. And the most of all, like the most of like the stuff in here that's like very puzzling to people is the fact that you're not so interested in like people's attention while also capturing it so easily. It's like really like a very puzzling aspect to people. And there is like a lingering thought of like, is this person single, is this person not single, like would I qualify to be like for them, like them, or would I not qualify to be with them, or would they not choose me? Okay. They just think of you and say like, who are they? Like this doesn't make sense. Like that's like the question lingers always, and it's like a mystery they cannot like answer. mm, they cannot answer it. Like they cannot answer like why there are so many like blind spots or missing gaps, and like missing like information. For the validation sake in here, I want to say is like there is a sad truth about this pile not belonging or feeling as though they're not from this world, and everybody is aware of that. Okay, like they look at you and say like this person really is not, like it feels like it's not, like they're not from this world, like otherworldly would be the word, like the case. It's like, what is this person even doing here? Like, and not in the sense that, they're not interested in you or something. No. Um, they just don't understand how to, like, how they should behave around you, that sort of information. It's kind of interesting, like, how this pile feels like an artist, but this is not a classical sense of artist. There is a lot of grim energy in here. I don't know why and what's going on with the people thinking about you, but it feels to me like you're just too much, okay? Too much, a bit too much for the mediocrity that's like surrounding you. And this is not like about necessarily the people, or I don't want it to be like sent to people on that note, but it's just like they lead a very boring life. And you seem to be showing up as a glimmer of hope, a glimmer, like um, a fire of sorts. And it's like, why did pile number one wake me up in the first place? Like that's the sort of thing. And you like when I see the word like um validating, okay, that's like using it as a marker in this reading. I just see a person who's not gonna be understood. I can see a person who's having such a powerful depth that I literally cannot, like, people see it, they can also like grasp it like in various like limited ways. But to be honest with you, the amount of attention that's being thrown upon you is like a like thrust is like insane. And also the frustrating part is like with that amount of attention and how much they hold back. Okay, how much they hold back, how much they cannot move forward, like genuinely puzzling to them. Like why do they have to wake me up from my slumber? Like why is that person even here? Like what am I supposed to do right now? Like, okay. And I want to say, like, you're like a almost eclipse to people. You're like an eclipse, like a fleeting wake up from a dream, okay? And you are quite literally, for someone in here, like for a group of people, or for the people you walk into their life, like for who you walk into their life and show them who you are, like you're meant to briefly wake something up in them. Like that's the feeling. It's like, when these people look at you and they like see you, it's like watching a star fall. Like that's, it's like, whoa, what's that? It's like, and it's a very also like fleeting, and like they don't understand like what what happened, like what hit them. Uh, and to be honest with you, like the aspect in here of pain is being shown as like very intense, like starting from release, growth in reverse, burden, like a lot of like very heavy stuff, growth in reverse, I said, and perception in reverse. It's like, that feeling when you discover someone who's better than you in like a domain of life, and you're like a bit shocked, like it feels like it's a bit overwhelming. Like that's the same story in here, but it's in regards to the people. And some of them are also kind of, I don't know why, but it makes me feel like burnt or burnt out, or in a frenzy. Okay, coming from the five of wands in here, it shows like a mushroom, a red mushroom. It's like they are like, this is not like pile one woke something up in people that it shouldn't have happened, like You know, it's like when a person is dreaming and they have a dream and you wake them up, and it's like the error, you know, I was dreaming and you woke me up, or some sort of wake up jolt from a sleep. It's and highly uh, almost makes me say like people are hallucinating or highly entrancing somehow. But I want to say, um, for the sake of this reading, the fact that it came through, it shows me that it has such a powerful positive imprint, even though it could come off as negative at first. But the waking up aspect is like making people feel like they're being further pushed into something, into a greater like awareness, okay? All coming from this experience, like no matter the experience, having one in the first place with you, it's highly beneficial. And guess what? It's like, you know that feeling when you think to yourself like, you know, I'm such a relatable person, but in this group it's like I cannot belong, okay? Like, my God, just don't, under no circumstance should you like create assumptions or beliefs about yourself by comparing yourself to the group in here, because you are a jewel. You're like a very powerful jewel in here that's not gonna be seen for who they are. That doesn't have to, change your perception of the self, though loneliness is quite a theme in here. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's the something tells me to further expand into the sense of self discovery or self expression. Something tells me to wonderfully believe in who you are and what you are meant for, because these are not like small feats this pile will achieve or has already been placed on the path to achieve. Like, never doubt yourself. Like, there is a powerful like inspiration in here to say like a lot of wonderful things to pile number one because they deserve it. But it's like, understand that all of this and the fact that you're watching this and the fact that you're conceptualizing all of this is not a coincidence, or this is not in vain. And this has a meaning. Like, it's not meant for you to be in the shadows, or this is not your life to be in the shadows, okay? Even though like this could feel like a temporary like it makes me feel like this is a stain on your personality, on yourself, for some reason, because of the amount of turmoil in here. I can read from people coming like, I see a ray of light in the middle of the darkness where literally you represent this light, and you're like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm this light. Okay, what should I do? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do in this dark place? You know? And the not the imprint, but the, yeah, maybe the imprint or the mark. Yeah, the mark you leave. Oh my God, the mark is very powerful in here. Like, the mark you leave on people, it's like unforgettable. And you're a very like complex person. I can also give you that. Um, I want to know. I want you to know that there is an uplifting energy in this reading. Like, it tells me to communicate to you like, you saw, like, you reap what you've sown, and what you've sown in this case, it's a lot of depth, it's a lot of intricate, soulful like essence. Okay, and it will come back to you in various forms and ways. And this is not all, like, this is not everything that you will see, or this is not the end of it, okay? Or this is not how you're going to be remembered. Like, a lot of validation is coming through saying like, yeah, this is the circumstances you're placed in, but this is not who you are. Okay. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it, pile number one. I hope you enjoyed your reading. That was a bit puzzling at first, not gonna lie. It gave me a bit of trouble to interpret, but I needed some pointers in here. Like I'm becoming aware of the need for pointers in the reading, and luckily I do have like a sort of a map for that. But there is a lot of stuff that's going to be uplifted and taken off from you, and the temporary turmoil in here, like, and the darkness in here is going to be lifted. It's going to be all like it's a phase. It does make me feel like it's a phase. It does make me feel like coming from the strength of the character that you do have, this is like a necessary path, or it's like a necessary phase in your life. It's like further meant to refine you. It's further meant to show you and the world how powerful you are. And the more sad, aspect of this reading is perhaps going to be driven or addressed to the people in here that thought about you, because I can sense the sheer desperation or limitation in here that's being also revealed in the reading. And for some reason, it makes me feel like you are a very lucky person, like a lot of luck in here. Why this is the case? This is coming from the overall contrast, you and the people. I feel like you are having access to a lot of the things people that just are just not able to comprehend. And it makes you feel like you are a prodigy of sorts, a person who's like beyond the game or ahead of the game. Okay, it makes me feel like also like you are someone who's going to be reaping the results of what they have planted, but over span that's like longer, like not like, and this is no easy win, like this is core deep stuff. If pile number one is winning, they're really winning, they're winning it, like even like if slowly but surely, and a very like deep and talented, okay, artists. Like I don't know if you're like into this, but in general, this is not meant for like a mediocre life or uh picking up on those aspects. It's pretty intense. Like I don't know how you're dealing with this, but it's pretty intense as an energy, okay. And believe in yourself, like that's the wonderful aspect I was wanting to like reveal to you. And comfort yourself with the idea that you are very rare, and that you're like literally deserving the best. And that you are like a person who doesn't need a validation to understand that they are powerful. um it's like for some people I have to really say it, like in general you have to express it a lot, but for you it's like an easy route, because it's like remember who you are, and you have all of this like essence that you are like connected to, and it immediately shows who you are. It could be the case that you are like having a greater sense of depth and self-awareness than the other people around you, and that's why we had in here such a powerful contrast I was referring to. um Personal will and power, it's very effing powerful in here, okay, be proud of that. So thank you so much for watching. That was pretty much all I wanted to say or cover into this reading. It was quite honestly a fascinating one to me because of the depth, but it was a heavy one, I'm not gonna lie. This is not easy energy. I don't know. This is either it's because of the deck itself, but either it's also, or because also I'm feeling this way right now for some reason, but powerful stuff, okay? Thanks for watching pile number one. Don't forget to like the video if it resonated. Comment below how it resonated for you. Subscribe if you're not already. Check out the old videos as well. The donation link is going to be in the comment section and the description section. I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the future. Take care. Okay, pile number two, you chose the crystal eye. This one is quite interesting as well, by the way. You have three of swords. Surprising things people thought of you, or actually surprising unexpected thoughts. Okay. Three of Swords makes me think that this is talking about not being able to forget you. It seems to me like there are lingering thoughts of heartbreak or thoughts about you, like missing you, okay? I can pick up on a lot of regret in here and not being able to let you go. Okay, that's very strange how, just like with one, this is about a very particular person. Or thinking about the great times, or in general, if this is not linked to one particular person, this could be talking about a sort of longing in here that's being projected from the like greater amount of people in this case. It feels to me like it's someone is not able to face the fact that like you're either gone, or they are unable to accept the fact that you're no longer in their life. This could also talk about again about a group of people. So uh this is weird, but yeah, there are cases when people are like, you think about this, and there are like people drifting away or moving away from your life, and you can no longer like see them. You can no longer like, maybe you're like too busy. Like this is that kind of like longing, like the person or the people are just, you don't know how much they like miss you. Like that's the three of swords in here, and it's like almost it's a very powerful longing. And for some of you, literally this could not necessarily even talk about like physical attraction or a romantic attraction, and it's like the case. No, this is like a soul family type of link in here that's being shown in the reading, and it's like, I think, powerful. um Psychic development makes me feel like these people are connected to you in a psychic way, and they're missing you. Like they're missing you, they can feel your like enjoy. Like it's almost like a very innocent platonic type of love in here that's missed or has been missed out, or it's like the separation between you and the person could be literally um teaching them something, or I don't know. By the way, this is coming through as like past person could be the case, or it's like someone wants to reconnect. You could resonate with that, but there is a powerful sense of longing in here. And it could be vice versa. It could be that you are longing someone, like you're having like this feeling over someone. And truth in reverse, yeah. It makes me feel like literally someone is unable to accept the fact that there is distance between you two, or someone is really heartbroken. Okay, that's what I can see, and it's like pretty, again, powerful, especially it being the three of swords. Like, yeah, a very distinct or concrete message. There is struggle in here, almost like some sort of distance, or yeah, definitely a distance in here is driving someone insane. As a general note, you are being also deeply thought about, um, and there is like a seeming thought in here about your analytical or your like senses, or you're being seen as a very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable person. Okay, there is almost like a feeling of joy and inspiration that's being drawn from your presence or from your life, and it's like also appreciation. Okay, appreciation, and who's this person going to end up with, and that's like literally beyond the romantic aspect, or it's beyond the regular type of, spectrum of the reading, like where we talk about someone having feelings. But with psychic development in here also, it's like also, and with transformation, like who is it that you're going to become? Okay. I want to say it makes me feel like there is a lot of intrigue, like a lot of questions in here, and a desire to know more about you. Okay. But with the Three of Swords, I can say again, it's like something prevents that from happening. And because of it, it's like inviting a lot of like almost chaos or grief in here, because there is like that obstacle and barrier in knowing you or in experiencing you on like a greater level, whatever. Okay, so anyways, I was taking some notes for your pile as well. I'm gonna be reading those out. The first thing that came to mind in here as well with this Three of Swords is that there is a channeled message saying, I don't measure up. I don't measure up, or we are separate, okay? There is separation in here where it really hits people in a very like grievous, sad way. I don't know what this is about, but maybe that's the way in which they perceive themselves, like they perceive themselves separate from you, and that's causing a lot of sadness in them. Um, Interesting, this one I got, like it says they are more spiritual than me, or they perceive you as being more advanced than they are. Um, they are better than me. Overall, the Three of Swords indicates in here that the thoughts linked to you are really painful, or they are really very like intense, I would say, and they are carrying a lot of burden or heavy aspect to them, like to the thoughts and linked to you. That you have much more things going for you than they have for some reason. It seems like for this pile as well, people tend to compare themselves a lot to you, and it seems they see things in you that they want to have as well, but they feel like they cannot grasp, like they cannot reach out to them as well. It felt to me like also people think about the fact that you're really lucky, that they see you as wise and very like innocent, and also blossoming in that wisdom, and like some of them have this notion of seeing you as an old soul. Now, this is not going to be the case that they literally think that, but they do assign the qualities of that notion to you, whether they like call it that way or not. Really, it doesn't matter, but it's a powerful like respect in here. Just like with one, I felt like there was a strong feeling of reverence, or very much so like respect that's coming through as well. That you are luckier, like they are luckier than me. That's what I wrote. Also, it's kind of interesting to notice in here the fact that, it's an element of envy that's filtering itself through the aspect of the intuition and wisdom that you have. Um, so it's like, in general, I would see people being envious of the circumstances, opportunities, success. Well, in this case, more so, people are envious of the fact of who you are. Like, um, they are more envious of the things that you have, like, not necessarily achieved, but it could be the case as well for this one too. But it's more so what you represent or who you represent, okay? Also, that you're going to have a lot of people respecting you and confining in you. Um, that you are going to be cherished by the world, by the crowd, something like this as well. And another one, like that you are concealing, or that you are like hiding the truth, the full truth of who you really are. That there is more to be pleasantly surprised by. So, It seems like people are projecting a whole great deal of stuff that they want to cultivate or they would want to see in themselves, but for some reason they have you as a mirror, and it makes them feel really, in a way, connected to that image through you. But instead of it being like a nudge for change, for them it's much more about like comparison again, unfortunately. And there was also some information in here saying that you somehow conceal some character traits of yours, like some very powerful character traits that you're not like showing to the world, or you're not truly revealing everything that's there. Also, seemingly Three of Swords. So somebody's real sad over the fact that you're no longer like in proximity, or that you're gone from their life. Um, it seems like the person really was or is affected in such a way that it leaves a like thinking aspect. They're really thinking about it, like there is no going back or something like this. I can't have them. There is distance between us two, and people find themselves losing um, almost like a touch with, like losing touch with reality and thinking about like the loss in here. In regards to the greater like demographic in here, if that's not like linked to one person in particular, this is a strong nostalgia, missing you out also feeling. So don't be surprised if people find themselves like thinking about the good times and the experiences that they've had with you, and you're no longer there for that. So yeah, it's like a lot of past revisiting. um Interesting also, we have Page and King of Wands. People find themselves also kind of losing temper and being really angry over not having something that you do have, okay? So it was sadness, it was also like envy, and I do see in here like anger or even frustration. And this being reading linked to the thinking aspect, it seems these are reoccurring or very intense thoughts that people have for your case. I want to say with the home card, you feel very cozy. You feel like home in the best of the ways, and you feel very comforting, comfortable. Um, that you are like expansive. This is a very expansive feeling, very peaceful. People think about these aspects as well, and it's kind of funny though, like as I'm like referring to this, that sometimes people do wonder and think about the facts and the things that they do not have, while still thinking about you in pleasant ways. So that we have in here this like discrepancy, it's kind of unexpected, but still. Um, I would see the home card as a huge advantage in here when people think about you, because it means people feel and think very highly of you. It's, it feels to me like this aspect of home in here, this card makes me wonder, like they kind of tend to leave you on like for later in a way, or they think about you, or they try to filter the things that they think about you because they would want to really save a good relationship with you even in their head. So that's a lot of, again, respect that's coming through. That you're expansive, whole, rare, and worth having, all encompassing as well, would fit really well for this pile. That means having multiple aspects going in their life, being like versatile in a way, um, like developed and evolved in various ways. Also, it seems like people think about you in a very promising way, so they expect a lot of great big things from you. Um, and also that you're not showing everything and who you truly are. Again, that was like something I wrote in here twice for some reason, but it's coming through as that. And I don't know what element for sure like really points to this, like not showing everything or not really, divulging everything. In general, you're being seen as a worthwhile match, worthwhile relationship, And I wouldn't be surprised because in here a lot of people like think about you and they want to have like that relationship that shows itself with the two of cups. um Linking the cards makes me feel like there is impossibility, like there is incompatibility or some sort of um circumstance in here that seems to be preventing that connection from happening, and people think to themselves like, yeah, for sure, because like I'm not that worthy, or you know, I'm not that important, that sort of thing, like highly thought of in here. It seems also like there was a theme that was quite surprising for this pile, in the sense that somehow right now people have access to them, but there will be a time where this is no longer going to be possible, or there is like a message of potential in here. People sensing the potential and understanding that you're not going to be accessible forever like this, even though like the accessibility aspect is also questionable because it's making already like that boundary and distance between people. So yeah, it's kind of strange to see that in the reading, meaning that people do have this perception that you're going to be far gone and really quickly, especially with transformation. And here I want to say, it makes me feel like you are someone who is not stopping like temporarily at something, or you're not stopping at like a phase in your life. You're constantly moving, you're constantly changing, and it seems like people do perceive that change or that constant transformation in this case. And this like the trail that you leave behind you, it seems like also very happy moments. People think about some very happy moments that they've had with you. It seems like this is in and of itself speaking about like the magnitude of what you're going to achieve. Um, we haven't here the truth card in reverse, so that's a bit puzzling for me to be honest. But I guess this is the source of the information I was referring to when I said that not everybody is like really confident in everything that you show, because like you are multifaceted in a way. People do find themselves like thinking like they're not telling everything, can be the case as well. And with the truth, if the truth would be like in upright, that would mean like you are an open book. You're not an open book, even though some of you really are. The reality of it is like it's impossible for this pile to fully express, and not that it would be even necessary, but there is just too much. Like there is like too many layers to this pile that would qualify like for them to fully open up and show themselves to the world. But like there are many blind spots, and there are many, like I would say, aspects that are not being fully or truly revealed to the world, and not because you're hiding something, but just like as a general message. I would also say people are very curious about you, and they cannot like let go of the thoughts that are linked to you, and they are very curious to find out what it is that you're hiding. Again, even though we do not have in here like the aspect of really hiding something, or to me it's kind of surprising to have that into the reading, because it's like a bit puzzling to me, like this pile is not hiding anything, even though if truth, you do have in here some people like detectives and stuff who are desperately trying to dig up information about you. With this Three of Cups representation, I guess this is not necessarily like Three of Cups in that deck specifically, but it's a lot of positivity. Like the social attribute in here for this pile is very powerful. Okay, it seems like it says in here creativity. Um, Aside from creativity, I saw a lot of well-being, joy, and thinking about the happy moments that you brought to the table. To be honest with you, like you don't quite understand how much people think about you, like to look at the bigger picture. You don't understand how much of a big impact that you have over people, specifically like emotionally wise, and you don't know how much grief in here is being like cascaded over people the moment they realize that you're no longer there. The landscape of the relationship is being highly um, enhanced with your presence. And even if you will have people in your life with whom you're not interacting that much or that deep, the mark or the really like happy people to have you in their life. Okay. And it seems like you do have in here a lot of like almost like secret admirers with this Knight of Cups. Um, wouldn't be surprised if you also have people trying to slide into your DMs or something like this. Though again, like the ways in which people have to approach you, they should be really refined, they should be really like careful, deeply thought through, and um, respectable in a way. So you cannot just show up with pretty much anything with this pile and to this pile, and chances are, like if they do, they are going to get ghosted and it's gonna hurt even more. It seems like people also want to evolve or want to grow and become like expansive like you, but they cannot keep up. Um, you like ignite a lot of like intense and powerful emotions when it comes to people. And it seems like this is a thought reading, but it seems like the feeling element in here for pile number two is being greatly like showcased or shown into the reading. Okay. I got in here a message like they do deserve more or they deserve better. Okay. Um, not even sure where also this one is coming from, but the world card in reverse and the Empress card in reverse. So people have an idea over like the fact that there is much that you're not being aware of. Like also in the reading that would show itself up as you're not quite aware of how much the world sees you as like worthy, or it's like there is so much worth in here for pile number two that pile number two is not seeing for themselves, and they would be seeing it from the perspective of the people, where it's as if your worth would be like universally recognized through the eyes of the people, or you'd see your worth through the eyes of the people. I want to say with the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Cups, people really love you. Like people love your energy. This is not a romance or regardless of the type of message in here that's going to be voiced, but just people loving you. Like that's wonderful, and I love it that it's being shown in this like Ace of Cups and very positive, like a lot of cups energy, and almost like we have this precipice over the idea that this is not even everything. Like this pile has um, this joyous aspect and it's in transformation and there is much more. So people do perceive you as being very deep and much more to come. I want to say, if you haven't heard people who are like almost like gate kept, or they are not participating in your life that like actively, or you're no longer communicating, there is a feeling of wanting to see you or wanting to hear from you because they are very excited about the thoughts linked to you. Okay. I love it for your pile that you have the most joyous, sincerest cards in here. When it comes to the relationship side, I know that the Three of Swords is not quite a joyous, though it could be a very sincere card in your case. Um, I want to say that you do leave people with a lot of feeling of comfort, and that your loss is causing a lot of chaos. Um, I do want to say that you have instances in your life in here where people thought that, it's worth living a life when I have them by my side. And I want to say you're not quite, again, like not quite aware of how much um, powerful aspect in here coming through as like influence over people's lives in a very like grounding, calming, and uplifting, like pleasant way, you know. One thing to also take from this reading is the fact that you will have moments when you will feel like, there is just too much drama, or there is like too much emotions in the background, and I have to shield myself from it. Um, and that could be very, very true, by the way. Uh, don't get like, yeah, we know you have a lot of influence over people's lives, but don't get too invested or don't get too attached to all of these like stories that people craft in regards to you, and don't let yourself like sink or go like real low in the idea that people are missing out on you, because you're not meant for everybody. And that's completely okay. It feels to me like you are meant to, or you're planted deliberately in people's lives to basically like show them what they should be aiming for, or give them inspiration. And I want to say in the reading, it shows that this inspiration is going to cost everyone differently. Like for some, it's going to be literally an inspiration, and for some, it's going to be a reminder where they are not. And even you'll have people who will fantasize a relationship with you and they wouldn't be able to have it. And this is going to be quite painful, but again, it's going to be like a point of progression or push for them for something bigger, okay? Also, like inspiring message to keep on pursuing and developing yourself and your self-expression, because already you are like reaping very powerful results from that, and that you should never like listen to what other people say, and that you should be following your own like almost like north star, so to speak. um that's like a nudge towards the idea that it's really unique, and it's really like worth pursuing that which you put your mind to, especially when it's being like guided in the direction of expressing yourself into the world. In case you're wondering if people want to come back to you, they are, and I don't feel in here like there is an instance that would necessarily not want you back. This is a rare case where like the phrase like universally loved can be very much so applied to you. And I have in here like a case also with a lot of people being really joyous when they think or they remind themselves of you. Kind of funny to see again a card in here saying that you have some stubborn people like thinking they have to be mine or they are mine, even though deep down inside of them they understand that they cannot like limit you, or they cannot like restrain you and like keep you at all costs, even though like even if they want you. Okay, so that's the deal. You cannot force those things. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Pile number two. That was like a very almost like short message. It felt to me a shorter one than pile number one, but still it had some tangible like anchors in the reading that were like revealing the thoughts. I hope you enjoyed your reading and I hope it resonated for you. If it did, don't forget to like, comment below how it resonated for you personally, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Check out the other videos on my channel as well. Hopefully someday I will organize them. And if you want to donate, and if you consider, like if you're considering that option, you can always go for the description section or the comment section. I'll have the link there. Wanted to once again thank you for watching, and I really hope to see you in the future readings. Take care. Okay, now moving on to pile number three. Let's see what you do have in here. Okay, Seven of Cups. That is going to be the central card. Um, Seven of Cups universally speaks about surprise, being like also in illusions, but generally for this pile, it's surprised. So it makes me feel like there is something about you that makes people really be drawn and attracted to you. You have in here also Reunion of Souls, along with Slow but Steady. Um, Also Ancient Wisdom. Um, yeah, it makes me feel like something about this pile feels to people like they're an old soul. Just like with pile number two, if you resonate with that one, go ahead and listen to it too. We have in here As-You-Will Energy, Death in Reverse, and movement into balance. Okay. This pile takes or strikes me as a very balancing aspect, or bringing something very like balancing and grounding in people's lives. Okay. That's what we have in here, you being like bringing to the table. There is a lot of orderly order and powerful changes for the better, but it's like everything seems to be making people at first uncomfortable. We have in here this powerful movement into balance card, so that makes me feel like no matter what's the state of the affairs that people meet you in, no matter if the person is, let's say, angry or unbalanced in a way, it seems like they are able to find that which is missing um, by having you like in their presence. I want to say in here the background or the surroundings for pile number three are very almost like harsh, diverse, and very strange in a way. You have also healing energy in reverse, so you are being perceived as very scarce. Okay, scarce, very like lacking, almost like people are craving you. Okay, kind of funny to have that in the reading. Okay, but that's the deal. Um, with Slow but Steady, it feels like there is a grinding aspect in here and the reunion of souls. Like you don't quite necessarily like know it, or you're not quite sure about this. Okay, let's like say it or put it that way. But you have in here an element of an impact or magnitude of impact over people over time that seems to be changing the person from the roots or from their like foundation. That came through with all of the row, like all the row of the cards in here from the Oracle deck, but all of them indicated to the fact that you seem to be a soul that has a lot of wisdom, a lot is like very old soul type of energy, just like with pile number two and maybe one with some references, but it feels to me like this is not even talking about the thoughts because the impact in here is much greater or much bigger than actually what I saw like in the topic itself. There is like also an element of the unknown when this pile is being shown on the horizon. There is also magnetism and being drawn to you in a way that's from the S-Will energy card in reverse. But all of this almost like it seems to be on purpose in a way. It almost like draws people deliberately in like in your presence, and it makes them like change, or it makes them undergo this process of change. I love it for you because this is quite a powerful like combina- combination of cards in here, almost like you are triggering a lot of transformation and a lot of change in people's lives. And unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know which one is the case, but you're not going to be credited, or you don't get a lot of credit for this, but the results of like your implication to people's lives are very much so like apparent to me in this reading. Okay, I see in here a great number of people reevaluating. Okay, Four of Swords. I feel like, if the person in the past was more violent, conflictual, or like not necessarily like directed at the greatest like of the things, or towards the most constructive of the things. Okay, with the Knight of of Swords. It makes me feel like the person is almost being tamed in your presence. Um, it makes me feel like the people find it like reasonably, like they find more reasonable ways to make something work because they see you as an example. I feel like this is no mistake. This pile is being planted in people's lives because you seem to be a powerful catalyst for change. Um, People's thoughts of you, and you also have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I feel like just like with Chu, you're teaching people something, and you're teaching them in a indirect way. You could have people who are higher ups. You could have people who are like in a higher rank, or people who are like, I don't know, just in circumstances that would not like necessarily show you in like a very exposed way, but your influence is there still. Um, you make people change their ways, and you do so in such a way that it's quite magical in here, I would want to add. And why it's magical for me, it's like I don't see in here you having a talk with that person. I don't see in here you doing something on purpose. It's just like the person changes in your presence. I do not know how else to explain it. I suppose there is a funny aspect in here of wanting to be like you that makes people subconsciously or unconsciously actually tend to copy you. We have this Five of Pentacles card, and you know how there is. Okay, that's the case. You can see a person doing something or achieving something, and like the first step for the people would be to try to at least copy or to try to at least to understand like where is this coming from. I feel like the thoughts in here for pile number 3 are very, let's say, happening in a very unconscious way, but for the greater good of them, of theirs. Um, this feels to me like when people think about you, they seem to be going back to the drawing board. No matter like the age, the status in here, something is happening at the level of their being that's being transformed, and that's bringing them a lot of like new, fresh perspective. Okay, I feel like you are pushing, whether you want this or not, whether you know it's actually something that you were aiming for, you're pushing people to recognize or to actualize or to acknowledge. Okay, yeah, maybe acknowledge as well, like who you are and what you want to cultivate. What is very interesting about this pile as well, it's the fact that you're not out there in like a very explosive way. um why is this puzzling to me? It's the power of the influence that you have in here. um it seems like this pile doesn't need a lot of like tools or exposure to initiate change in people's lives. Even like you could have that intention inside of you, but with people in here, they, you know, they do not necessarily even, some of them don't even register you on their radar, but you're there. And also the nature of the changes in here that are being showcased are very slow. They are very like very almost invisible to the naked eye, like it being shown with a slow and steady um, movement beyond. Okay, and death in reverse. Genuinely, when people will think about you and or will look back at you, they will say this person like is not like everybody else. but I remain like deeply touched, or I respect them so much for some reason. Like, I feel like this is not even necessarily about something that you're doing again. It's more so about who you are or what your presence exudes in this case. But you are wildly like unknown and mysterious to people. And again, like not everyone, like I would say perhaps like two or three people right now are aware of the changes that you are creating or the changes that you are igniting into people's lives, okay? By just being there. Like that's the truth of it. I suppose also on thinking level, you give people a lot of inspiration, whether you're aware of this or not. But it's like the person is receiving a lot of like almost downloads or inspiration so as to what is possible to change, or yeah, a fresh start. Like the Ace of Swords for me always shows a new idea or a new stream of new thoughts, or dynamic thoughts in this case. There is also a feeling of being restarted or restart, like a great restart of sorts, okay? People feeling refreshed or almost like they got a restart of sorts because of you. I feel like something from the past that was like very important or relevant, but it was kind of inauthentic, is being changed, or people think like I met them and I changed. Okay, that's the sort of energy I feel like it's also relevant to this pile. It's truly fascinating to see how this pile is also being able to affect and show people the true ways or the right ways, okay? Um, I feel like people are being slowly, like almost pigeonholed in a way towards what's truly important. That's being again like Knight of Swords. I have in here some people who are like the surroundings of yours. They are very impulsive. They are very quick decisions, like almost unconscious impulses that cannot be like chaotically. They're so chaotic you cannot even control them, or they are so fast you cannot even understand what's going on. I feel like all this chaos is being beneficially like sorted through with the appearance of yours in their lives. Okay. It's kind of interesting how I thought I'm gonna be delving into the thoughts of people, but in here it's much more about like the impact. Um, I suppose this is the case because the thoughts are very almost gibberish in this case for this pile, and not very like, let's say, susceptible to being read, because they are like very impulsive or very raw and instinctual. So I suppose you're being like communicated in this case the aftermath or the impact of what you create in their life, and the subsequent like results of how is that going to be deciphered through the thought element. But what I find funny in this, like I have to I would show you the energies. Like first of all we have this knight, and then we have this four of swords. So uh first we have like a dynamic, destructive, explosive and impulsive energy, and then we have this very calm and settled energy. So and again, I don't feel like this pile is necessarily like sparking a lot of like violence, or you're not you do not need anything like violent or anything explosive to stop that energy. It's just your influence in here somehow. And the fact that you do not push this insight into people like forcefully, and it happens naturally, it's something that's very like puzzling and quite interesting for me to find out how it is that you're doing it. But I feel like the secret in here is also like a self lived, almost like a lived example. Okay, I feel like you have a lot of people like watching you, or a lot of people like inspecting or thinking about you. This is going to be the case, but they cannot like pin it down, or they do not get, or they don't know how to pin it down. Okay, so they cannot put their finger on it. Like that's going to be the case. So um they cannot quite get it, like they cannot get your flavor, or they cannot understand who you are. Okay, they understand that you're someone important to them, but they do not get, or they do not are not able to fully grasp who you are. I want to say this is for the greater good of theirs to not know exactly what's going on, but this pile will resonate with the idea of being divinely sent on a mission. Okay. Wheel of Fortune says in here that you're being planted in people's lives in such a way and in such a form that they are to be changed, but without them knowing it, or without them understanding it. Um, and the magnitude of change is quite powerful because you have all of these examples lived on your own skin, you know. And yeah, a lot of introspection coming through from the hermit. So it's like how this organically unfolds. It can be the case that people are like thinking about you, and also trying to unconsciously like bring that into their life, and like they set themselves up for those insights to visit them. And something about you making people feel very present in their life, or grounding them in a very real and almost like lasting way. Um, I feel like you are capable of healing the person, like making them no longer necessarily like go through the same experience or scenario all over again. I feel like you are capable of bringing a lot of clarity in people's lives. That's being shown with the King of Swords. I love it that people like look at you and say like, yeah, that's like what I should be aiming for, or that person is an example of what I should be going for, or what I should be like again aiming for. Kind of funny though, like it's much more apparent, okay? With your appearance in their life, it's much more apparent that way. I feel like again, deliberately the universe or God is concealing your true identity. Now, this is something I don't see every day, but yeah, that's the kind of truth of it, so to speak. I feel like there is a message in here as well saying like you should be pursuing what you've been pursuing, and doing that in a slow, steady, like you did type of way, and also in secret. Like don't drop truth bombs or don't overwhelm people. It's not like you're necessarily doing that, but it's like a direction of sorts that's being shared. Um, you're like a catalyst of sorts, that you like you work really well being a catalyst, but in disguise. So you know for you to understand the story better, is like when a person is deeply entrenched into a like a belief system or false belief, you could be that person to not say necessarily like don't believe that sort of thing, or it's not true. All you have to do is just like help the person gently doubt it. And you can be the case like, this is the good case of the devil's advocate. You can plant a seed of doubt, but in a belief that's not serving the person, or in the person's dynamics, or in the person's directions in life that are not necessarily like leading them towards something very good. Okay. And you can do it so like, especially with those violent types of people, or like let's say conflictual types of people, and like you're best suited for that sort of thing. And I feel like it's kind of funny that you landed on this particular video because pile number three is being talked about or is being revealed to the world in their like magnitude and influence. And you know how they say that every character has like a weakness that can be exploited? Literally, this pile has that element of cunning or that element of, knowing how to best serve an idea on a plate, specifically for that character or for that configuration of traits for that person. Okay. It's like you could find yourself being very good at conveying messages or conveying stuff to people that, the general demographic would never be able to do that in 1,000 years. And also, you know how they say that, no, actually, this is not quite the case, but um, perhaps you've seen how water can sculpt stone if it's being like, if the flow of it is being directed at a point for a very long time. If you direct the water in a way, it kind of polishes the stone, it polishes pretty much everything it touches or it consistently like affects. Same thing, or I've seen the images of like rocks being sculpted by the wind because of the wind currents and the frequency of those. The stone, no matter how much, how powerful or how durable, durability. In this case, it is, no matter how durable it is, sooner or later the wind is going to polish it in ways because, yeah, that's what it does. And over time, the slow aspect in here is being showcased, and I absolutely love it that your pile is capable of affecting people in to them invisible ways. Okay, and that's deliberate, like deliberate and invisible from their side. From yours, it's not like very apparent. Like also the case with food. Okay, so you can actually create the best food ever, but if you don't add salt to it, it's gonna be tasteless. So this pile, these people from pile number three are being referred to as the salt, you know? Like literally, the dish could be intricate, the dish could be very deeply thought through or very complex. If it misses salt, you know it, like it's not gonna work. Like literally, you're the salt in here. And I've heard about this from the Bible, or the Christians being referred to as the salt of the world, and if the salt like loses its properties then it's like useless. Yeah, I don't know, like you have to know that you're deliberately planted in demographics or groups of people that are meant to ascend, that are meant to change. And you could be a teacher without even knowing this, or you could be a teacher without even necessarily like carrying the notion of this up front, or you could be changing people without you even realizing it. So that's kind of powerful. And I don't like, the most interesting like aspect for this pile is the fact that I do not have in here the need to necessarily like, let's say, impress, or it's like I'm not sure that you're going to discover a lot of new things from my pile, like usual. Pile number three does that. But also like this pile felt to me like they are very deep and old in a way, like very grounded in a lot of notions. So that's not usual that I see like people not needing validation, or that's not quite usual that I see people not needing a lot of assistance or not needing a lot of like information to be backed up in their sense of purpose or journey. So literally pile number three seems to have this, all of this in check, and more so it would be for you, this reading would be more so a confirmation of sorts. um Also, something that's playing on my mind right now, like in the background, this doesn't have to be like a grand purpose type of thing. This could be like influencing the world, influencing the people you come in contact with in smaller to bigger ways. And it doesn't have to be like this grandiose thing. You just have to know that, you change people for the better. And I want to say the quality in which people are being brought to you, it's grave. It's actually very rudimentary, and you come off as a very refined person, and like a capable person to change others for the better. And I feel like you're not necessarily like even credited enough for this. Like for some reason you don't expect it, or you don't receive a lot of credit. I feel like you are like holding a very pure like divine mission. um and it says something also like nobody is paying me for that, or nobody is actually like congratulating, or giving you trophies and recognition and stuff, but it's still something that you dearly pursue. And that's something that's also being like praised in here. And like there is a message of like you're going to be rewarded, or you're going to have that come back to you like tenfold. I want to say you will have the instances with people when they will almost like emotionally grow up, or when they will mature, where it will feel like they will fully understand like what was going on, and they will come back to you and thank you. Um, I see in here a profound sense of gratitude that's going to be triggered as a result of people understanding that it was you, okay? It was you, the person who actually changed their like ways. It's going to be a moment of recognition, them like thinking about you and realizing that, that was the person. Like they participated in my life in this way, and they are the reason I got like changed for the better. Like they showed me a different way. This is also how you're gonna be recognizing yourself into the reading. It's going to be the case like you are you're someone who's very calm. You don't talk a lot, you just show it. Like you show it in your example. You show it, you show how it should be done. Okay, that's kind of funny. Like there is not a lot of talk. There is a lot like you are expressing yourself in a very coherent, very like clear way. And you don't have to do a lot of like, yeah, you don't have to do a lot of like work, or you don't have to really stress yourself out to prove your point. And when you believe in something, you actually go for it and you make it happen. And that's but like being linked to a lot of nobility, or a lot of respect that's being brought to you as a result of that. I want to also say people want to be like you. They want to be like you, but they don't know how, or they understand like again it's making them change, but the change it has to be like too drastic for them in a way. Like they want to be like you, but they understand there is much to be changed. Okay. um This is like almost like pile number three is giving me the example of a walking banner, or a walking like advertisement. Like this is like the perfect example of how marketing should be done, and how true change actually is being propagated. Like you are a living testimony of what people should be doing, or the direction they should be picking. And you don't have this great marketing campaign to actually advertise that, but the advertising the advertisement itself, like from a marketing standpoint, is very efficient. So if you would have analytics, if you'd have indicators of like, I don't know, performance or stuff, my god, you'd be successful. You'd be qualified to be very successful. And it's it's like the ways in which that works It's very like kind of different, kind of like personalized. Okay. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed your reading. That was a very specific and concrete message. Do let me know how it resonated in the comment section. Leave a comment if it resonated. You have the donation link in the description and the comment section. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, check out the old videos as well, and I really hope to see you in the future readings. Take care.